Alright guys, so finally after 16 weeks I got the camper shell. It's on, but now I get to start the build of the cabinetry in the back. So that's what I'm doing today. That's what I'm here to do, to start that off. I'll get to that in a second, but I guess I'll show you a quick little preview of what my truck looks like at this point. Alright, so it's an F-150 2009. I've got that little video that I made prior to any modifications. There you can see I've got the new wheels, 35-inch. Here's the truck top. Came out really well. Unfortunately, they didn't install it perfectly. You can see right here that they didn't line it out properly, so I'm also gonna have to loosen off the clamps at some point and give it a nudge and then line it up and then tighten it back up. I got it with the racks. Eventually I'll put solar panels up there. Alright, so you can see I've got the spare wheel on the back there. And I've got the mount into the hitch. Alright, so a few nights ago I went and bought a bunch of the plywood to start the fit. I've got it all in the back here. I got the major cuts down. The plan is I'm going to insulate behind the boards on the floor, so I've got some foam board there that will go on the floor. There's the cutoff up there. It's a 6.5 foot bed, so those pieces back here, which I'll show you in a second, I will cut and I'll put around the floor, and then today the rest of this will have to be cut down and to the right size and shape, and then we'll put them together. So my general plan is I'm not going to use standard joinery where you screw the wood directly to itself. I'm actually going to use bracketing. The reason for this, I want to keep this as modular as possible. I want to be able to reconfigure it easily on the fly. So if I need to make one compartment bigger or smaller, I can quickly from the inside take out a few screws, slide it up, slide it down, and reattach it. I've got some steel bracketing which I'm going to use that'll screw in from the inside, and also because what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely box it out all the way around the bed, so it's like an entire frame. I've got 3/4 inch ply, and it is going to be as modular as I can make it. Okay, so next thing I have to do, I'm underneath the back of the bed here. There is a plastic knockout, which hopefully you guys can see. It's right there, which goes into the interior of the bed. What I'm going to use that for is to bring the power cables in from when I put the solar panels on. And I'm also going to have the power unit, the Bluetti. I'm going to have an inverter installed in the back of the bed here, which will be wired directly to the alternator. So when the alternator, when the engine is running, it will deliver power to the inverter, which then I will plug into the Bluetti power unit. So what I've got to do is, if you look back there, the it's covered with the bed liner. So now I've got to cut out a hole right there. Fun times. Alright, so I've got to cut some of the plastic out right about in this space. It's a little hard to measure. It's about 5 inches in from the side, but because I can't measure directly to the side, I'm starting at 4 inches right here. I'm using a Dremel, so this is going to get kind of loud. So I'm going to cut a small hole first because it's about this wide, but I'm not sure of the height, so I'm just going to start down low and I'm going to cut a slot in right about here, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, and I'm a little over to the right. Oh, left in this case, I guess. It's right about here. Alright, that's fine. The power unit is going to sit right here. The fridge is on the back end, so all my power units, all the power cables will come in here. So the solar panels will be right above. The cables will come down between the cab and the shell, and I'll bring them right into here when I put the hole in the right place. Alright, and there we have it. There you can see the plug. So it's just plastic. So when the time comes, the cables will come right in there. Okay, now I've got the hole cut for that. Now I can start building into the plywood. Start with the floor. Obviously, I'm going to have to cut around all of these again. There's going to be 2 sections for the floor. I'm going to start with the back one first, and we're going to build everything out that way. Once the 2 pieces of the floor are done, this piece will go on next, and then the sides. Right, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the first piece of board that's going to go in. This is going to be the first piece of the floor. I have to cut it around the wheel well. I'm not going to bother to make it all curvaceous. There's no point. These slots will be boxed out over the wheel well, so everything will be enclosed when it's finished. So I've already marked out where I've got to cut it. I may have to do some more trimming because it is curvaceous in there. Alright, let's start making the cuts. Okay, so after some shenanigans, I finally got the first piece in. That's the hardest part. It's the back side. I'll show you real quick. So it's that first piece of floor that goes at the back. It comes far enough forward that the second piece of flooring is going to go in right behind it, right here. It's just going to be a simple cut, and I can just slide it right in. But the back one, with the bed liner in it, it's flexing, so each time I put it in, one piece would get hung up and jammed, so I had to keep trimming, and I finally got it. Let me show you how far I've got. As you can see, I've got both of the floor boards made. You can see I've got odd cuts there. I made some irregular measurements. It's okay. All of this is the base stuff. It's all going to be behind. You won't see any of this roughness, but the back piece is in. It's temporarily fixed in place. It's going to be mostly held up with the side panels that I'm in the presently cutting, And so I've just made one, and I'm going to use that as a template to cut the second one, and then I will fix these in place, and that will be done for the day. Oh, and you can see back there in that back corner there, I've made that the cut in the back board so to allow the cables to come through. Okay, so I've got both side panels cut. They're not installed yet, but you can see how it's sort of gonna look like. They're just standing in there right now. So, but I almost forgot. Now I gotta fix the insulation to the back of the panels, which I'm about to do. Okay, I'm against the light here, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is what I'm backing the panels with. It's kind of like that Reflectix, a bit like the Reflectix, not that brand, but, and then I'm holding it on with these kind of screws. I don't know if that's going to show up in the dark very well. They're panhead sheet metal screws, and they're short and they'll hold in place very well. Didn't want to use staples because they would tear right through. Alright guys, I'm done for the evening. It's getting late, it is dark. I'm using a flashlight, but you can see I've got the frame in. It's not completely fixed in place yet. I've got a few brackets. I had to make some adjustments, and where the wheel arches are, I'm going to be boxing those out, so that'll be completely a square box over those wheel arches. And then the bedding and the cabinetry for the kitchen and all of that will go in after that. I'm going to put the fridge on this side. Oop. All right, here, and up in that back corner where you see the hole, that's where the Bluetti unit's going to be. That's why that hole is there, as I explained earlier, for the cables to come through. I think depth wise I'm going to have to build a box behind the Bluetti, because it's not deep enough to. I'm planning to make these cabinets about 18 inches deep, and the Bluetti is way thinner than that. The fridge is actually about 22 inches, so it's out a little bit further. But I think I'll have to build a box to stabilize the Bluetti to keep it in place. And I'll probably use that for storage and access it from above. Those are things that are up and coming. But as of right now, you can see the insulation underneath the boards there. I've got insulation lined around all the walls. It's not perfect, it is rough, but all of these angle pieces, they're all going to be behind the cabinetry, so finished product, you won't see those except for the one in the back corner right there, because it will be above the bed. But other than that, all the rest of them should be hidden. I had a notch out for the braces, the clamps for the camper shell, but there we go. All right, it's time to go home, pack up. I got a lot of rubbish that I've got to clean up and pack up. Hey guys, we're back. This is like day 3 right now. There's a part that I did in there that I couldn't film. We'll go over that in a second. But today I'm here with Stevie over here. He's a local handyman, and he's kindly helping me out with correcting some of my errors. And we're hopefully going to finish the inside of the truck build. So here, right here, this is Stevie.
Hey there, I'm Stevie with Westlake Works Handyman and Fabrication, and I'm going to be helping out Peter here today, and we're going to get it done.
Hopefully. All right, so first thing we're going to do is correct something that I did originally. It's not really an error, but this piece right here, the flooring, it's all built on the the foam. And I got to thinking that over time, even though the weight is dispersed and it shouldn't crush down too much, it is load bearing. So I thought what we're going to do before I build too far, we're going to take this bottom piece out, slide the foam out, and take some 1x2, slide it up underneath, and trim off the foam board and slide it in, and then put it all back together. So now I've got to take this piece out, but I've also got to take the side panels out. It's all screwed together. As I was explaining earlier, I wanted this modular. This is why, so that I can take things apart very quickly. So it's only a matter of screws. I've got the impact gun right there, so let's get after it. Look at that. I can put that on top. They're too high, man. They're too high.
So we're gonna take 5/8 material off, get everything all set. And that's dialed the way we want it right there. Okay. Power on.
All right, so here's what we did. The 1x2s are cut down and we're putting them underneath the floor to create structure. I'm now going to screw them in place to hold them. That's not structural, it's just to stop it moving. I've already got a few in there, so now I'm going to continue putting the rest of the screws in. Alright guys, so I'll show you real quick. So the structural members are in. We have to trim down the foam that's in between. It's all screwed down nice and solid. The walls are back in. Stephen over here is about to address some of my issues with fixing the wheel arch boxes to the frame. I just screwed them in from the side roughly. Some of them miss, some of them hit. He's going to put some pocket screws in there so that we can fix it properly in place.
Yeah.
And then we'll put those in place and I'm about to mount some angle brackets around the back end to put the countertop on top of, which I'll have to trim down because we're gonna have to build a frame around the fridge, and that's coming up. Okay, so further along, couldn't film a bunch of it because it was just a matter of taking things in and out a lot, but as you can see, the walls are back in, some of the bracketing's been removed and replaced, the box covers for the wheel arches are on. We are now putting in the bed frame. That plate right here, this piece, that's the top. What we're going to do is, I want it sectionalized underneath it for, I want to put a small drawer in the middle that pulls out and then sectionized underneath and accessible from the inside. So we're starting to build the first box frame first to go here. We're going to go from there because we're going to have to cut the top piece in certain pieces and sizes to be able to lift up from inside. So there's no solid plan. We're figuring out as we go because, well, I'm awkward. There it is. Alright, I'll give you another update soon. Okay guys, a bit further along here, let me show you real quick. So the fridge is in place, the cabinetry is done, it's solid. This, if you look right here, it doesn't match. I had to cut those a little shallower because of the fridge door, and this was already cut. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to trim this down to match because I need to make the next support piece right there to go in. This is where the Bluetti is, you can see, and cables down below. That's there temporary right now. I'm in thought. We'll have to see what I come up with. Okay, we're back again. This is how far I've got. You can see the fridge is already in, the frame is there. That's the first part of the countertop. This piece back here, which I'll get in and show you in a second, that's going to go on top over there. That'll be held in place by cabinet magnets. You can see the bed is pretty much finished. I have to make an adjustment for that lid right here. I've got a drawer to make under that part and drawers to make for that part. How exactly I'm going to configure those drawers right now, unsure, but drawers will be going there. So here we are inside. Let me just show you real quick. So this is the piece that's going to go in the corner here. I've already got the wire cable for the fridge fed through the holes at the back here, so that'll be tucked behind. So this corner I need to have easy access to for maintenance purposes and things, because the Bluetti power system is going to sit right here and my cabling is going to come through here. So if at some point I have to manage that, then I need access to it. So originally I was going to hinge this piece, but then I thought, well, if I'm going to hinge it, then I've got to hold it up and work. So instead, I'm just going to have it sit there, and it'll be held in with cabinet magnets in here, which I'm going to do in a few minutes, which will hold it down, so that when I need to get in there, I can just take it out, set it aside, and I've got access. Also, so I may just stand that right there. Hopefully, you need probably in the way there. All right. So the depth of the Bluetti, the power unit, is from here to here, so it fills this space perfectly. These blocks down here, which you may not be able to see, they're to space it out because there are fans from the Bluetti, so it's got to suck it in from this side and then blow it out that way. So this is a spacer down here for to allow the air. So, and then it stands about yay high, about this high, something like that. I want space above it because it has 2 wireless charging pads, so I can put my phone on there and the evening. But it stands up higher, and I need to be able to secure it. So I'm going to build a box here so that I can strap the handles back to it, and then I'm going to build a small frame around here for it to sit in, so it stops it walking and it won't topple. And then this will be just a cavity which I will use for miscellaneous storage. Another reason why it's good for me to have that, to be able to lift that. Not quite sure what's going to go in there at this point, but in a space this small, all space is a premium. Alright, so that's the goal for today. Get this in, get the drawer made for this, and hopefully those as well. Alright, let's get after it. Alright guys, well, the build is just about finished. It's not sanded and sealed yet, but the construction is done. Take a look. The Bluetti is not in yet because I have to sand and seal it down first. So I'm not doing that with the power unit in, but all the drawers are in, and I will talk about those later. Cause yeah, that that did not go smoothly. Anyway, so there we go. Later down the line I intend to do a full truck tour, but as of right now the bed is constructed. I have a lot more to do. I'm gonna take the seats out of the cab and put the platforms in there. I gotta put the solar panels up. I've got to wire in the isolator. All that's yet to come, but there we go.